Hello, my beautiful friends. I often find myself looking through the videos on YouTube to see what the Starseed community is talking about, and am constantly intrigued by the extremes of subject matter and beliefs, ranging from religious dogma to the vilification of anything with even a slight leaning toward the spirit or soul, and everything in between. Something for every seeker. The more I explore my own journey, the more those sorts of inconsistencies show themselves. I notice that as I search through the wide collection of opinions and ideas, the same concern keeps popping up and makes me wonder, do humans really want to know truth? For myself, I've long been aware that our physical world is deeply affected by our thoughts. It is, in fact, a reflection of those beliefs and convictions. Therefore, in essence, our reality depends on our interpretation of it. It's the way we view our life that builds our future. So, my personal insight is to consistently look toward love and beauty, and life will follow that lead. So, yes, there are those who are constantly searching for truth, just as there are those who seem totally content with things the way they are, never asking what's true and what isn't. Are the stories on the TV news true? I think some simply decide that the reports must be genuine because they can't imagine why anyone would choose to lie to the public. Yet, if it was suggested that nearly everything presented on mainstream news has been manipulated toward an agenda of fear and control, would they even believe it and want to know more? And what if they were told that their religion is flawed and falsified by those they're told to honor and revere? Would humans really want to see behind the veil of deception if they thought it might be frightening, or if they may have to change their beliefs they've had all of their lives? Like in The Wizard of Oz, would they really want to discover that that mighty wizard is just an old man behind the curtain? Or that the formidable Darth Vader is in truth a deformed and shriveled up old guy with a superiority complex? My Andromedan teacher told us scary stories of a grim future for planet Earth, with what he called widespread plagues, where towns and cities would be locked down and under martial law. He told of polluted oceans, earthquakes and flooding, crooked politics, and a loss of personal freedom, where nutritious food was scarce and the only way to stay healthy was to grow your own. I listened to his warnings and then at some point chose to ignore them. It was almost as if I somehow believed that if I ignored the warnings, I wouldn't have to accept that future. It was only after his predicted events started happening, not only what he said would happen, but when he said it would happen, that I started paying attention. So, when we say we want truth, do we really? Do humans really want to see the wizard behind the curtain revealed as only an ordinary man? Did any of us really want to see that pathetic, deformed old guy behind Darth Vader's mask? Or the horrors that Neo saw in the Matrix? Would most humans want to know they're not free, and that nearly everything in their life is controlled, and that even the thoughts in their heads are not their own? Knowing that this reality is an illusion anyway, which would we rather build our life on? Blue skies and the free will to grab a happy, or at least contented life? Or to know just how dark the dark side can get? Well, to be honest, I took the red pill a long time ago. And although humanity's diabolical underbelly has been exposed to me, I wouldn't choose to be ignorant again. Even though I am occasionally very aware that in some cases ignorance truly can be bliss. Still, I've always really wanted to know. Maybe not necessarily some of the things that I've learned, but I think something way more scary than seeing the ugly side of life is not knowing that there is one. How can you be safe and secure if you don't know there's anything menacing out there? Nevertheless, the question is exposed. Would you really want truth, even if you knew it was filled with unspeakable horrors? Well, since science and metaphysics have both shown that this world is not real, does it really matter? In fact, wouldn't a lot of people love to live on a holodeck of sorts, where they could program any life they chose? If it gave you everything you want, would it really matter if it's a lie? And what about denial? Is denial ever a good choice? Well, as an example, let's say you were living a very happy life and someone very close to you betrayed you. And knowing this would absolutely break your heart. Would you want to know? If you didn't know, you could just go on with your happy life, believing and trusting. Where if you knew, you would never trust that relationship again. Everything would be ruined. And it would even cause you to doubt that this person ever really cared. I'm not convinced entirely that this question really has an answer, because it's also individual, and the answer might be different for everyone. However, what I would like to do here is to bring up a present and very real dilemma with this question at the very base of it. There is currently taking place above our planet a very volatile and ominous extraterrestrial situation. An argument between what's known as the Galactic Federation and some of their ET races who love humanity and the Earth and genuinely want to help. Well, the Federation was formed as an alliance nearly 900,000 years ago as a result of the Orion Wars, which in some ways are still going on, and is made up of countless star races and civilizations. As starseeds on Earth, many of these star races are our families. These galactic races, through whatever technology is chosen, send members of their crew or planet to Earth to experience life as a human. Some come here with a certain mission, others for the adventure, to play the game. These star beings, before coming to the planet as a starseed, are very aware of the state of the earth and the struggles and miseries of the human condition, and still are willing to face those potential hazards, not only for the excitement, but for the education. They want to learn and advance their soul. So they freely choose to come here and take on this vulnerable biosuit of human flesh. The trouble is that some, once they get here for any length of time, change their mind. They have forgotten that they are being constantly monitored by their own galactic star race, presiding in ships above, and that they're never really abandoned or alone. However, because they're unaware of this, they feel trapped. And even many of those who come with a mission realize that they're unable to make any difference because of all the restrictions censoring their every move. The Federation holds that those on Earth are there playing a game that they themselves set up, and they do not want to be awakened because it would ruin their game. The Federation claims that when a starseed returns to report in, they make it clear that even though they suffered on Earth terribly, they do not wish the game to change. So the game remains what it is, with no one coming to rescue them or make life easier. Meanwhile, as a human, the starseed has no memory of asking for the game to be so hard. So they're usually the ones looking up at the night sky and begging their star family to come and rescue them and bring them home. They had no idea it would be like this, and are now afraid of becoming trapped in the human cycle of reincarnation and never getting back home. So the dilemma is, first, who should we believe? But also, if these homecoming starseeds really do want the Earth game to stay this difficult, should their star families even interfere and come to save them? Or should they just let them be, no matter how much they're suffering, and allow them to finish out their human incarnation the way it was planned? They knew before they came here that they can never really die. Additionally, another factor comes into play. Should those starseeds who have awakened really be sharing their information at all with others? I mean, if they're asking before they come here to forget who they are, then they obviously don't want to be reminded. So isn't that going against what they, as an ET being, wants? Would awakening them now be stealing their thunder? After all, they deliberately came here to forget who they are, purposely immersing themselves into this potentially dangerous 3D game, even taking a chance that they might get lost or become trapped or killed. And now we're telling them who they are and showing them the way out. Is that fair to them if they don't want our help? They knew before they came that this world is an illusion. I mean, what would that starseed say when they get back home? Would they be upset because we shook them awake? Would they now feel that they missed out on the drama they came for? to participate in a scary movie, a horror show. And we, in essence, gave the plot away. They came here wanting to believe that they are just a defenseless human being, to challenge themselves, to see what they're made of, to see if they have the courage it would take to stand up and fight the bad guys. Remember, most of these starseeds live in places of incredible beauty and peaceful circumstance. They came to Earth for the contrast, the duality between good and evil. Well, this is the Federation's viewpoint and excuse for keeping Earth in this rather insane 3D condition, teetering on the brink of controlled Borg-like automatons with no will of their own. The way I understand it is that the Federation's argument is twofold. First, they insist that humans have brought all this on themselves through their selfishness and their drive for money and power, always wanting more and stepping over their neighbor to get it. They, the Federation, state that the people are asking for this technology, that the majority think that AI is pretty darn cool and would sign up to have artificial implanted nanotechnology to enhance their cognition, their physical strength, vision, and life extension. Secondly, they say that since humans did this to themselves, it's up to them to get themselves out. The Federation says that mankind has been warned over and over again, but their warnings have been ignored in the human drive for material gain. It's considered by those outside of 3D that to incarnate on Earth is the most difficult level of incarnation. The souls that choose to come here are revered by their star families for their fearlessness and bravery. Many purposely want to feel trapped for the thrill of freeing themselves later on. They're quick to take the chance to come and hopefully work their way back up, because even if it takes them 10 lifetimes, from another point of view, an entire lifetime is the blink of an eye. And if they get homesick, all they have to do is look up into the sky and they will be heard. Before they come, they know that every single thing they feel or do or think while on Earth will be perceived by those above. They also know that anything that restricts them, they have chosen. So many prefer not to wake up. They want the game. Those humans who consider themselves to be victims look at the Earth as a prison planet. And I suppose in one sense it could be considered true. Yet, from the higher planes, it cannot be a prison, because souls from 5D and beyond choose to enter the Earth to have a confined and limiting experience that they know will greatly assist their individual soul expansion. So, is this so-called Federation of Light just a bunch of psychopaths herding over their human farm? Or is it more just a case of misplaced loyalties and dissension among rival star races? From my perspective, The Federation's claimed viewpoint seems like some sort of a fabrication to allow more turmoil and confusion, more war and suffering. But seriously, why? What would they gain from that? No wonder the skies are alive with starships right now. I guarantee something is up, and from what I can see, there seems to be some sort of missing piece to the puzzle. I mean, what's the real motivation? And why can't they seem to resolve this ongoing descent that has been happening since the Matrix was installed? Shouldn't they, at their level, be beyond this sort of behavior? These are 5D beings acting like bullies. You know, I remember when 5D and the New Earth was first being talked about. It was all sunshine and roses. Stories of how we would all be ascending into a paradise of love and beauty. That 5D was a place of peace and harmony. Then the chat began to take on stories of false angels and shape-shifting reptilians messing with our DNA with agendas of control and imprisonment. Well, I don't know about you, but that's just too much for me. Hey, I, for one, came here to ascend. I came here to fully remember who I am as a source being and to help guide others into doing the same. Am I just being naive? Well, maybe. But if I am, it sure feels a lot better than dwelling on the idea of being trapped on a prison planet with no real escape. Anyway, I just wanted to pass all this by you and see what you think. To me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Supposedly, there are those who have been channeling this Federation of Light. But are they really? And if they are, is what they're getting really the truth? Or just another manipulation to pacify the gullible human race into sitting and waiting for someone else to take care of their problems? So far it's working. Well, something to contemplate. Thanks for hanging out with me for a while, and I hope to see you all again really soon. Bye.